Avery began by telling Jameson about Toby and how they first met. It had been shortly after her mother's death, during a walk in the park they used to visit together. It was there that she encountered Toby for the first time. Jameson questioned why Tobias Hawthorne would leave his entire fortune to Avery simply because she knew Toby. He believed there had to be other reasons behind it. He also noticed that Avery was holding something back. To make things interesting, they made a wager. Whoever uncovered the truth first would get what they wanted. After parting ways with Jameson, Avery headed to the great room, where she found Nash. He told her that both her lawyer and her sister were looking for her and were currently in the east wing of the house. Instead of going to meet them, Avery decided to investigate further. She made her way to Tobias's office and opened the secret compartment. Inside, she found a folder about herself, along with numerous photographs that dated back several years. She noticed that she was only pictured with Toby twice, and in both photos, his face was obscured. Oddly, Tobias had also highlighted two things on her birth certificate: her date of birth and her father's signature. Avery understood why her birth date was significant. It was the same day Emily Laughlin had died, a girl both Jameson and Grayson had loved. But she had no idea why her father's name had been marked. As she tried to piece everything together, she heard a knock at the door. Quickly, she gathered all the photographs and returned the folder to the hidden compartment. It was Elisa Ortega, who had come to inform her about the football game that evening, since Avery now owned the team. Avery had never been to a football game before, but as the new owner of the Lone Stars, she couldn't admit that to the reporters who swarmed the SUV. Alyssa instructed her to lower the window and shout, "Go, Lone Stars!" Avery didn't want to, but she did it anyway. That's when she spotted her father, Ricky Grams, a man who had spent her entire life treating her like an afterthought. Without saying a word, she rolled the window back up. The owner's suite offered a perfect view of the 50-yard line. Avery shook hands, posed for photographs, and pretended to understand the football jokes being tossed around. Eventually, she returned to the suite, this time with Grayson accompanying her for some reason. While they were alone, Avery confided in him that Toby was still alive. Grayson immediately urged her not to tell anyone else. He warned her that Toby might be the only person in the world who could legally challenge Tobias Hawthorne's will. The next day, Avery had to return to school. During her free time, she decided to dig deeper into Toby's past. She already knew the basics. He was the youngest of Tobias Hawthorne's 3 children and, by most accounts, the favorite. At the age of 19, Toby and some friends had taken a trip to a private island the Hawthorne family owned off the coast of Oregon. During their stay, a deadly fire broke out amid a terrible storm, and his body was never recovered. The tragedy had made national news. As Avery sifted through old articles, she uncovered a few more details. 4 people had gone to Hawthorne Island. None of them made it back alive. 3 bodies had been recovered. Toby's was believed to have been lost to the ocean. She researched the other victims. 2 of them, Colin Anders Wright and David Golding, were essentially Toby clones, prep school boys and heirs. The third was a girl named Kaylee Rooney, a local teenager from a nearby fishing village. She had a troubled background and a criminal record, according to several sources. Some accounts claimed that she had started the fire. Later, Avery received a message from Jameson saying he had found a lead. She headed to the school cafeteria. While getting her food, she looked around for Jameson, but instead spotted Xander. He was sitting at a table, deeply focused on a strange-looking contraption. Something like an elongated Rubik's Cube, with tiles that could swivel and fold in multiple directions. It was likely one of his own inventions, given his love for complex machines and scones. Watching him fidget with 3 of the tiles, Avery started to wonder. While his brothers were busy playing their grandfather's games, Xander had often spent quiet moments sharing scones with Tobias. Had they ever talked about Toby? She crossed the room to approach him, but he was so lost in thought that he didn't even notice her. While Avery and Xander were talking, they noticed Rebecca Laughlin walking toward them, holding a lunch tray. She looked the way she always did, like a princess, with hair as red as rubies. Rebecca approached and told Avery that she owed her an apology. Avery replied coolly, saying, "Maybe I don't want one." Just then, Thea Caligaris sat down and asked Avery if she was still holding a grudge about everything that had happened. Avery was furious. As far as she was concerned, Thea had once dressed her up like a dead girl, and Rebecca had nearly gotten her killed. Before leaving, Rebecca mentioned that Emily's birthday was coming up on Friday and that there would be a memorial fundraiser in her honor. Later, Avery realized she needed a new plan to learn more about Toby. She texted her best friend Max to ask for her opinion. When she opened her locker, she saw a newspaper photo of her father at the football game with the headline, "I just want to talk to my daughter." Curious, she checked the news online and was met with a flood of hateful comments. Orrin, her head of security, reassured her that it was probably just a bored teenager pushing boundaries and that his team was monitoring everything. Suddenly, Grayson appeared and revealed that there was a list kept of all potential threats. Orrin then took Avery to see the list and introduced her to Eli, a new security agent who would be shadowing her at school until a full assessment was completed. The list included names like Ricky Grams, Sky Hawthorne, and several others. Grayson asked Orrin to step out so he could speak with Avery privately. He told her that their grandfather had also kept a similar list. As they spoke, Avery noticed a monitor showing Xander holding a sledgehammer. She instantly knew where he was. At some point after Toby's disappearance, Tobias Hawthorne had walled off his son's wing. Avery left Grayson and headed straight there, where she found Xander lifting the sledgehammer over his shoulder. Jameson soon joined them. Before proceeding, Xander wanted answers. Avery told him the truth, that she had known Toby. Once everything was out in the open, the three of them decided to enter Toby's wing together. The wall came down quickly. Inside, the floor was made of white marble tiles, and the walls were entirely lined with mirrors, giving the space a strange, funhouse-like feel. The wing included a library, a sitting room, a study, and at the end of the hallway, a bedroom that still had clothes hanging in the closet. Xander was crawling underneath the king-sized bed, while Jameson ran his hands over the top of an armoire. He must have found a hidden lever, because the top of the armoire popped open like a lid. Meanwhile, Xander discovered a loose floor panel hiding two small plastic bags, one filled with pills and the other with powder. Toby's wing was full of secret compartments, hollowed-out books, trick drawers, a false back in the closet. A secret passage in the study ran past the main entryway and revealed that the hallway mirrors were actually two-way. Through them, Avery could see Jameson lying face down on the marble floor, carefully inspecting each tile. She stared at him longer than she should have, then quietly retreated back to the library. There, she and Xander combed through hundreds of books looking for hidden compartments. 19-year-old Toby had clearly had eclectic tastes. One shelf stood out, the only one that didn't hold books. Instead, it framed a clock about 8 inches tall. The clock's second hand wasn't moving. Avery twisted it and the entire clock rotated and loosened. The clock face detached from the wall, revealing not gears or electronics, but a handmade cipher disk hidden inside. Elsewhere, Jameson found a loose floor tile with a hidden metal compartment. It was empty, but on the bottom was an engraved poem. I was angry with my friend. I told my wrath did end. I was angry with my foe. I told it not, my wrath did grow. It was A Poison Tree by William Blake, a favorite of Zara Hawthorne's, and apparently Toby's as well. The poem describes hidden anger growing into a poison tree. Its fruit kills someone who doesn't even know they are the enemy. The poem ends with a dead body. As they were trying to decode the clues, Mr. Lachlan, the groundskeeper, walked in and demanded, "What are you doing in here?" He ordered all of them to get out. The next morning, Avery's routine took 5 times longer than usual, thanks to her team of stylists. By the time they were done, she was running late and decided to grab a banana from the kitchen on her way out. Mrs. Lachlan, however, was furious, both about what Avery had done in Toby's wing and everything else that had been happening. Avery tried to explain that she wasn't lying or making things up, but Mrs. Lachlan simply handed her a banana stiffly and told her to go to school.